In a platinum and diamond level, rotations and making good decisions are some of the biggest flaws in your game. I see a lot of players forcing themselves to clutch situations simply because they didn't plan ahead. Well, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 super good decision-making tips that you can start using today. And it all starts right now. So to keep things easy for you guys, I'm simply going to be saying good play or bad play every time our team makes some sort of a decision. So of course we have our boys Scythe, Carnage, and also Udon Boy dropping in here over at Bio, and it looks like the first thing we're going to be doing is getting a contract going. Of course, we want to get our money up. There's always going to be the number one thing we want to do so we can get our loadout ASAP and start hunting teams. So we got the scavenger started, and it looks like Scythe also picked up a UAV. We're going to probably pop that in a second right here, and we do have players over towards industry as well too, so we've got to be careful about that, trying to rotate over towards chemical to get this scavenger finished. So we are a little bit separated here. We got Carnage and Udon also over in Bio, still just looting up. Well, Scythe is grabbing the first box here for the scavenger. Another one up on the roof here. It looks like Carnage is going to get the last box, and now we have a ton of money all together for us to get our loadout relatively quickly. We got players looking at us over towards Chem as well too, so we're going to have to be careful with the placement of this loadout. I like this positioning as well too, because we saw that there are players looking at us. We have somebody sniping us over from Chemical, so putting the loadout down on the side of the building can give us some cover while we're trying to get our loadout. So this is a good play right here, so we're not getting blasted the second that we actually get our guns. And as I say that, speaking of getting blasted, here come these enemies right now, just full sending us immediately. Scythe not even having a chance to react, going down and actually getting eliminated right away here. So Carnage and Udon have to now clean this up as quickly as they possibly can to at least try and keep the game alive. Either going to run or have to fight. Udon's going to try and get some shots. Looks like we're going to chase a little bit. And here we have Scythe actually live pinging an enemy. And I'll say this right here, this is not a good play. However, this player is actually plating, so kind of got lucky right here. Guys, I will not advise. Well, you know, if you're as crazy as this guy right here, if you're as crazy as Scythe, teabagging to show dominance while also getting a kill and the, oh my god, and the assassination. This guy is ruthless. I will say, not a good play to jump on an enemy like that with just your pistol and you know that they had real weapons, but I guess but I will say that if you're good with your pistol, and this is gonna be one of those things that kind of counteracts that option, is if you're good with your pistol, you can make very short work of an enemy, especially if they actually get caught plating. So here we are, everybody back together again. Just gonna hit this ammo cache really quickly and just min-max our smokes. Gonna be grabbing a self-revive just really quickly, and I think we're gonna make our way out of here in a second. So at this point in the game, I recognize that we're relatively alone. I see some mortars going off in front of us, kind of towards Nova or slightly towards Prison. So we know that there's some enemies over there as well, and we can start pushing out and thinking about finding some enemies so we can try and get some SR before we get to the end of the game. So we see somebody taking the helicopter from the helipad right here. We got enemies right in front of us, right in the open. So not really in a great spot. Let's see if we can get it down out of the plane. We actually can. Udon getting that first down, so we have an initial pick, so we can actually push up on this a little bit. We got nades going up over the top, and we got Scythe trying to get in the mix, just peppering that player. Has Resolute actually escaping for a second. Basically everybody somehow just scurrying away for their lives. I'll say a pretty bad play on the enemy's part to just try and grab this helicopter and think nothing's going to happen. Okay, Scythe isolating a fight by himself a little bit here. This player running for his life, does not want the smoke from Scythe. We see him on the mini map, but also obviously right in front of us, running for his life. And somehow we're not actually able to get this down. This player is super trying to escape us right now. Somehow actually disappeared into the ocean. It looks like we're kind of getting looked at by another team towards the docks right here, and it looks like Scythe does in fact want the smoke. Speaking of which, smoking the enemies, I don't mind this play. It's actually a pretty good play for trying to push up. Rather than trying to smoke your path to get to a team, smoke them instead, and now they can't see unless they push out of cover or push out of the smoke at the very least. So we're able to push all the way over towards the dock. And once again, we have teams just running away from us. We got heavily sent at the beginning of the game, and we had one team trying to set the tone, and all of a sudden, everybody just don't want the smoke. That team, oh, as I say, we got one guy flying in here. Are we gonna get this down? Good shots coming out. Scythe is gonna get that down, and I think Connor's got the finish on that. So sitting on 2 kills. We're gonna make our way in towards Prison here a little bit. So here we're gonna hit the fire sale. We're just gonna grab a gas mask. Nothing too crazy, not having a ton of money on ourselves, so just gonna be able to get something. And always, like I always mention this as well, guys, you always want to try and hit a fire sale when you have the opportunity. If you're gonna walk right by a buy station, at least buy something to help yourself. So here we have Scythe trying to get some high ground over on the water tower just to try and find some action. It's been a relatively quiet game, only sitting on 2 kills now in the 3rd circle. We have some players over top of Prison here, and they do have their own fight kind of going on. It looks like we're going to try and send this in a second. Pushing that direction, we're now top 7 as well too. Getting some live pings, so I don't mind this play. Udon unfortunately kind of behind us a little bit, so it's going to be a kind of staggered fight. We're getting sniped and mortared, so honestly, this is a good play to back away from this. I would not be fighting this right here. We did get mortared, and yeah, right here, good play, just backing up. Of course, and I will say this is a very frustrating part of the game for a lot of players, and that is when you initiate a gunfight and have to pull off of it immediately. You're thinking to yourself, okay, now finally get some action, and then you're in over your head immediately, and then you have to back up. So it's a frustrating part of the game, but I will say it's a good strategic move to rotate away from danger when you genuinely are going to be in over your head and potentially you're going to go down for no real reason. Here we are over towards the harbor buildings. We're getting high alerted from our right towards Nova. There are players in the building with the red roof right in front of us here on blue ping. So we're going to be rotating back over towards the buy station building. We're just kind of looting up once again. And at this point, I'd be trying to find money for a streak, possibly a UAV, if I can get a PA or something to just try and help us. But it's been very, very low action so far. So this has been a very rotate heavy game. This is one of those things too, guys. As Resurgence is closing, this is where the game becomes a much more strategy heavy game. We can still walk away with a good amount of SR, but we're going to have to win the game or at least get top 2 placing because there has not been a ton of kills, not a ton of action. We've only really had 3 real engagements so far this entire game. And this is a spot where I see a lot of you guys struggle, and that is making good decisions when having to rotate. It feels like if you're in a flow state and you get a chance to do a lot of fighting, sometimes you just have a good game and you get a lot of SR, and then sometimes you get knocked out around like 5th place or sometimes 3rd place, and it's not too bad. But in a situation like this, we only have 2 kills on the board and we're now in 4th circle. So now in order to make this game very, very worth our while, we gotta try and get super high placement or go crazy towards the end of the game. So now at this point, there's still 18 players left in the game. So a lot of players, as we can see up towards the corner of the mini map off prison, a lot of fighting going down. We got PAs going up in the corner there. So a lot of players are in absolute chaos in the corner. We got players right in front of us as well. Also players in our building as well. Somehow snuck up on us. We got players down towards the buy station. A good live ping. We see a player down to our left here. 2 players rotating around. We're going to be pushing this player in a second. I'm sure he is in shambles. Going to go down right here. He's going to break line of sight just in case his team is here to help him. Gonna get this finish. Good play by Scythe right there. So we do have some players behind us as well. Outer circle just trying to push in, I think. Udon actually got the down on that as well. So good cleanup behind us. So we're not going to get flanked or third party in that situation. But as you'll see right now, the circle is now pushing down towards bottom of harbor. There's basically no cover here except for 2 buildings. I think we are slightly in by a sliver, but this little box right here is going to be a prime piece of cover once everybody gets pulled down off of the high ground. So this is a very important part of the game right here where you're trying to devise some sort of plan before it's too late to think and say, okay, what should we be doing? Speaking of which, high alert to our right here, gotta be careful. He's up on the rocks, gonna be getting pulled down, and we have to have some sort of plan saying, okay, we have one of the worst spots in the game right now. We have low ground, and all we have for cover is this one small box. So we gotta do something crazy here. Depending on where the circle goes, we kind of have pull right here, but we gotta go through the open. So this is gonna be dangerous, definitely. We got a player right on top of us as well. Good switch to the BP-50 right there to get that clean up really quickly. Good heads up play there by Scythe. And now we're making a gas play, guys. Pay very close attention to this. This is a spot where a lot of you guys fall apart, where it's like, okay, I'm afraid of touching the gas. I don't want to make this rotation, but I will say, you guys, you got to start getting comfortable with playing in the gas and recognize that you're not going to die. If anything, using your gas mask to make crazy rotations. As I say that, we're making a pretty insane rotation right here, getting ultimate height on everybody. So this is a huge rotation, actually. As I say this, let's just see how this plays out. We got everybody in front of us, they're getting pulled towards, and we have ultimate height. We got a player right in front of us here as well. Good cleanup as well right there. Deployable cover in front of us as well, so he's got a little bit of cover here. Everybody getting pulled out of this building, and I will say these guys at one point had the best spot in the entire game. Now all of a sudden they're getting world starred by our team on height. We've got a player landing in behind us. It's gonna be another down. It's about to be the game right here. This is an insane rotation that we made in the blink of an eye. All of a sudden having 4 kills on the board. Now it's 3 versus 2. We're looking for 2 players. Got one guy in the air right here. That rotation literally just sealed the game like crazy. Guys, if you're not using your gas masks to make rotations like that, then you're leaving so much on the table. And it looks like right here, Connors is going to get that last kill, and that's going to be the game right there. A 16 kill dub off of a massive rotation. So if you enjoyed this video, but you feel like your team fights could actually use a little bit of work, then I highly recommend checking out this video right here.